Hey guys, welcome back. So now we're getting back into the 2021 Hulk series with Smashed or Not Part 3, and there are a couple things here that we gotta talk about. Cause this story is really starting to grow on me with the new elements that are being brought in at this point. So let's get into it. But first, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to catch the spills every week. And don't forget to hit that bell up top so we can squat up in the comments for the first hour. Alright, so jumping back in and picking up with just complete and utter destruction. And it's here where we pick up where we get a glimpse of the incident from El Paso, to where all we really know at this point is that the Hulk went off the rails and a lot of people died. And when we jump in here, we don't really get more details as far as how this went down, but instead we get this narration from Banner with him describing what it's like when the Hulk quote unquote lets him back out. Cause sometimes he just lays there and he waits to hear sirens or people screaming or people dying, with the rare event of him waking up to a happy or joyful aftermath where people are excited that the Hulk saved the day, cause those moments pale in comparison for Banner to the times where he's woken up in the middle of some disaster. And it's here where we hear Banner express that the world has done anything but run short on forgiveness for the Hulk, because regardless of what the Hulk's done, the world eventually seems to look over it. But in the case of Banner, he doesn't forget. But then also for Banner, it's here where he's met by a large, dark, hulking figure. And right away Banner's like, what have you done? I thought we were a team. Why would you make me do this? And this hulking figure just responds, because you are weak, boy, and he just crushes Banner's head. Which is just a crazy way to start this issue off, if I might say. Because I kind of feel like for the first time, this series has really got my attention now. But as it turns out, for Banner, this flashback was a dream. And when he wakes up just to find out that this Dr. Bruce Banner that he had just met within this unstable pocket dimension had put him to sleep by giving the Starship Hulk a sedative, and right away Bruce goes off tossing this guy and demanding that he gives him answers. And again, Bruce asks him who he is as if he didn't already tell him. But with how it's done, it's almost like Bruce is like, okay, cut the crap. Tell me who you really are. Tell me what's going on here. But for the Doctor, and really just out of pure amazement that this is a Hulk that is talking. But in his amazement, the Doctor tells Bruce that he's never met an abomination with such agency. And right away Bruce is like, what did you just call me? And like you can tell in his eyes, he's about to go full Jason Derulo on this guy. Because it's one thing to call someone by another name, but there's just certain names you just don't call other people. But this other Dr. Banner, he clears it up pretty quick and he lets Bruce know that the abomination title, that's just something that his superiors had classified the gamma mutates that were like Bruce. But as he goes on to give up more information, he tells him that his name is Dr. Bruce Banner, and he doesn't mean him any harm, but he wants to know in return if there's a name that he would prefer for him to use rather than just calling him an abomination. And it's here where Bruce tells the Doctor that his name is Dr. Robert Bruce Banner as well, but also where he comes from, he's also referred to as the Hulk. But with him telling the new Dr. Banner that he's also a doctor, and it's here where he tells him that the two of them should compare notes. But before our Bruce can really get into this conversation, he's then interrupted by the ship's computer, giving him alerts of the engine being in danger of overheating because he had left the engine room cranked up to stage 3 and the Hulk had just been fighting this whole time. But when the system computer reminds him, he turns it back down, and right away when this happens, the giant Wolverine who looked like he was sent by Rita Repulsa, like he just disappears. But even still, with the huge Wolverine gone, Hulk is then met by this same dark hulking figure who this time is way bigger, like he's towering over the mountains. But when Hulk is met by this figure, it's only for a brief moment before this thing just turns away and disappears, leaving Hulk there asking who this is and him telling this thing to please come back. Which I thought was a pretty interesting touch that the Hulk would say that, with the Hulk being classically known for saying leave me alone. But then it's here where we see the Doctors sharing notes with each other, to where we jump in on the latter end of the original Bruce's story, which we know. But as he's finishing, he then gets another alert from the ship's computer saying that there's some unusual activity and energy in the engine room, to where the radiation signals doubled, and then they suddenly, and Banner just cuts it off right there. And man, it's like we're hearing this, they doubled. Like, I don't know, Banner, you might want to check that out. Because if nothing else, that's gotta be a clear sign that you had more than one Hulk in the engine room. But with Banner brushing this off and getting back to the conversation with this new Dr. Banner that he just met, and it's here we ask the Doctor if he was searching for him because he was looking for a cure for himself, and it's here where Dr. Banner lets Bruce know that he doesn't have a gamma mutation, and he's not what Bruce would call a Hulk, but instead he's something much worse. And it's then here where we go into his backstory, to where in his case the gamma bomb was a success, and here on his world, with everything going perfect with the demonstration, he had thought that this was going to be like the beginning of a dream come true. because he had dreamed of a green world with free energy and an unlimited amount of free power. But of course, with him delivering something this crazy and this phenomenal to the government, as you would expect, the powers that be took that power from him and they used it to set fire to the rest of the world, which then, rather than making this Dr. Banner's dream come true and making him like a hero, it had instead made this Bruce Banner a destroyer of worlds. And with hearing this right away, Bruce, he can totally relate because more or less he's kind of just like, well, don't you hate it when that happens? No, he ain't say that, but he let the Doctor know that he knows that feeling. But then it's here where the Doctor admits that he's been hiding here this whole time, and in a way trying to make things right and atone for his sins, but also he was looking for somebody like Banner. And it's here where he shows Banner to where after his higher-ups had just bombed the rest of the world, leaving nothing but the United States, making it the greatest empire in history. And although it be in a messed up way, but I guess a lot of messed up stuff happens when empires are being built. But then it's here where Dr. Banner tells Captain Banner that across the world, aside from the crazy death toll, that there are also a number of survivors that the military classifies as bio-waste casualties. And before even seeing it, Captain Banner already knows that this Dr. Banner is referring to other Hulks. And man, when we get a look at them, man, they look crazy. One of them looks like it's almost half brood or half bug, and it almost makes me think of something off of Men in Black that had just hulked out here in this world. But then also with Captain Banner seeing this footage, and I think I'm just gonna call him Captain Banner from here forward just to distinguish the two. But with Captain Banner seeing this footage, he then asked Dr. Banner, where are these abominations, as you would call them, like where are they now? And real quick you can tell that Dr. Banner's getting kind of nervous, and he starts explaining himself like, hey, he was forced to build this thing. But Captain Banner or Bruce, he's just like, hey, just where are they? And it's here where the Doctor tells him like, I sent them where I found you, through that hole into the void. And when Captain Banner hears this, he goes off because Dr. Banner has practically made an interdimensional garbage disposal designed to just get rid of Hulks because his higher-ups deemed them to be abominations. And Dr. Banner tells him that this is why he had brought Bruce here, because he had wanted to study one of them and possibly heal one of them, which is why when Bruce came passing through, Dr. Banner picked up his gamma signature and pulled him in. And with Dr. Bruce telling him like he doesn't even know where they go when he sends them through. And he goes to telling Bruce again like the higher-ups made him do this, he made me build this. And right then Bruce is like, who did this? Who is in charge? And Dr. Banner tells him, my father. And Bruce just freezes. But with the Doctor saying this, he's not talking about Brian Banner, but instead he's referring to his father-in-law, President Ross, which for a second almost feels like we're dancing on the lines of Heroes Reborn, the 2021 Heroes Reborn. But if I remember correctly in that one, Thunderbolt Ross was the vice president. But even still, this is crazy, because not only did Ross get the gamma bomb that he wanted, but after that he then turned around and used it on the rest of the world. But also, I do want to say that this kind of does make me think of something, and this could be all the way left field, who knows? Because as of right now, we really don't have any solid evidence of these events being connected to the Immortal Hulk, or really this specific world for that matter. But I do want to say that with us seeing this version of Banner, who was successful at building the gamma bomb, to where then after he married Betty and Thunderbolt Ross became the president, but in a way it kind of reminds me of what we had seen in Immortal Hulk issue 49, just before Joe Fixit had walked through the Forever Gate, when we saw a version of what seemed to be a perfect happy life for Banner. And like with the exception of the carefree teenager, I could kind of see this world being something similar to a snapshot of the ex-military man along with the scientist and his loving wife, at least before gamma bombs had went off all over the world. And once again, not saying that that is what this is, but it's just a thought. Like, it's definitely one of the first things that came to my mind after reading this issue. Because for Bruce Banner, and regardless of what Banner is out there, it would make sense that even the best version of his life, it would still be tied in some way to some type of great destruction. And so now real quick, I want to give a special shout out to all the patrons. Thank you guys for all of your support. And for anyone who's new here who wants more information on how to support the channel, I got a link below so you can go to patreon.com/dopespill. But that'll do it for this one, guys, and let me know what you think down in the comments below, especially with that crazy opening in El Paso, because I got a feeling that that incident is setting us up for like a crazy plot twist down the road. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below, and we'll do it again on the next one. Alright, later.